And in threes, they're currently undefeated. SMPR took down Navi in 3v3 just once. That was the only time that they needed to play it. And then they beat Juicers in 3v3 as well. Now, they didn't dominate either of those games. One was an overtime win. One was a 1-0 victory. But SMPR so far have not lost a 3v3. Meanwhile, Guild, they've won 2, lost 2. So they've lost the opening 3v3 in both the series they've played. And then they've come back later on in the series and taken the revenge win. So if I had to pick a favorite just for this one matchup, I mean, you've got to go SMPR based on the stats. I think both teams probably rank pretty closely right now in Europe in terms of 3v3 prowess. But that's a good start for CRR, rattling the post, or rattling the crossbar rather, with a big dunk right after the kickoff.
Yeah, you get the feeling that CRR could be one of the most important players in this lobby to just get up and rolling, especially when he might be playing as many games as it looks likely he will be. Exotic now also over on the wall. Is beat to it by Dorito. Good clear though, but Exotic still the target man downfield and couldn't quite slice across it with the car the way he would like to, but SMPR starting out very well here. Might actually get one more shot with this, but the infield pass, Exotic didn't really have much interest in following.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of CRR, like you mentioned, and Exotic as well. It could just be those two battling it out every single game, as we saw Exotic playing in every game yesterday for SMPR in every single game mode, and we saw CRR doing the same thing for Guild. As CRR Dorito, the Spanish duo in 2v2, and a full French roster means, well, any duo would be the French duo for SMPR, but expected to be Exotic and Chaussette as they went every single game mode in twos for their team yesterday. This is a great start actually for Guild. I wasn't expecting this kind of tempo after the slow starts that they had yesterday.
They actually have a chance to hit the shot. Chaussette just holding back a little bit, trying to bait it in, and it's Dorito. First one to the loose ball. And we've got Guild starting out once again very strongly. We've got the 1-0 lead.
Good stuff. This is huge for Guild. You mentioned it's all about momentum in a matchup where two players are going to be heavily relied upon. We saw how much of a difference the earlier losses in a series made to Atomic and Luminosity, who had to play every single game for his team. Started off brilliantly and really fell off towards the end there as he lost control. That's a phenomenal back pass, actually, by Dorito there, intercepting what would have been a ceiling shot. It would have been a lot harder to save coming their way, but actually kind of ceiling shot the ball towards his own goal to make it easier for his teammates.
Yeah, Dorito, one of those players that has not been a flash in the pan, started to really emerge during the last season of RLCS. Has just gone from strength to strength since then. Looks to be very comfortable, and his team for the time being will be comfortable in offense. Exotic almost got dunked on. I like the approach angle there from CRR, realizing that Exotic wasn't going behind the ball. Instead tried to loop back around and made sure that he responded in kind. Chaussette can follow, looks at the backboard setup, and two players were around. Devo starting to set some sort of tempo towards the defensive side. Both teams looking reasonably good so far, no glaring issues, but the pass to Dorito, no one can get there. Dorito's got the brace.
And Guild are looking good, not just for the next 2 minutes, but also the 5 minutes afterwards. The CRR and Dorito can keep that synergy up. Perfect pass. Dorito leaving nothing to be desired when it comes to the shot as well. That is going to be a really, really difficult combination to stop for the currently undefeated 2v2 roster of Exotic and Chaussette. I think their biggest challenge will come later on in this series when they face CRR and Dorito. Dorito, who actually at some point at the end of last season had rank 1 and a 2500 MMR in 2v2, which is unbelievable for the rank 2's ladder.
To get the drop down pass. Good control by Cassio. Wow. Cassio said he can't play musical instruments. Well, he's just played Guild like a fiddle.
What beauty as well. Dorito completely left out to dry there by Cassio's mind game. And that first touch making Guild look a bit silly as well. They're right back in it. SMPR, this little starter today, unlike yesterday. Can they fight back one more? Chaussette actually just reversing back into position there, unconventional, but he's managed to end up in a decent position to follow up on the play. Now Exotic infield, double tap being aimed for, but he doesn't make contact on the second ball.
They do have the option. Exotic moved quickly, but Dorito, what an interception. Jumped just at the point of contact. A very high-level game of threes that we've been able to enjoy. We've got a minute and a half left here as Exotic looks for the infield off the wall bounce. Pretty easy for Gil to deal with. Dorito back up. Wants the hat trick. Not going to get off that shot, but Devo almost there just in time. For the time being, though, it's not Gil that need the goal. They're in a lovely position, though. They have got all the mechanics to try and hold on to that midfield. Although Devo found himself a little bit too far forwards. A couple of demos as well, and suddenly there's a swarm of blue cars, but CRR far too quick with the interception.
With a minute to go, I'm liking the rotation out of Guild. They look organized.
Nice.
They look like they, might be playing this one with the let's not lose another goal mentality. That one goal from Casio kind of scared them a little bit. They've let the foot off the pedal in offense, but they're controlling the play brilliantly. They might not be creating terrifying chances. Even this kind of thing, it's not something that SMPR should struggle with. It's a routine save for Exotic, but they look like a bit of a mess in the counter-attack here. Boost has been difficult to come by for SMPR, and it's showing.
Especially if you are a team that needs the goal, you would much rather see the opposing team take shots at you. You can take control of that pretty well. You can keep the pace of the ball going, but when it's an air dribble and you just have to take the challenge on your goal line, it's so hard to just recover the ball. Oh, what a dunk! Exotic! He's going to want to show us some more of those later on, but for now, it's enough to get his team back in the game.
Oh, CRR decided to go at this one in reverse. That's such a difficult ball to, hit with confidence. Definitely not where he wanted to be. He would rather turn, face the play there, deflect the ball into the corner, but in reverse, he's just walked right into a monster dunk. SMPR tied the game late on into it. Dorito, the mind game center ball, doesn't go past Chaussette though, and Chaussette launches a third goal into the Guild net.
And the game has been sniped away from Guild.
Pass.
Brilliant pass to Chaussette, who couldn't have hit it any cleaner. Just skimmed the defender's car, but not enough. 3 seconds left. SMPR now have got the lead.
And it was just a beautiful team, full team play there from SMPR. Devo not able to keep the ball in the air, not able to get it past the first challenge. A comeback win for SMPR in the 3v3. That is huge. Guild, unfortunately for them, continuing their rough run of losing every single game won in this tournament so far. And they've chosen 2v2. CRR doesn't want the 1v1 yet. They want to rely on that Spanish synergy of CRR and Dorito. I don't think SMPR are going to be too scared of any matchup, or any game mode, I should say, in this matchup. I think they're going to be ready for all of them.
I do notice as well is that Devo and Casio have both left the lobby. We've had a couple of mix-ups, actually, regarding how the non-playing players go around. Some of them like to stay in the lobby and just watch. Others seem pretty content just to jump out, get themselves into free play, and keep themselves warm. I suppose it comes up to the player, although as a coach, you'd probably want your player just out there doing free play.
Yeah, these guys, they want to warm up as they normally do for any game, and usually the minute or two before a game, sometimes 5 minutes for some players who join lobbies early, involves just smacking the ball about the lobby that we eventually play in before the admins reset it. So they obviously can't do that here. The lobby's being used by other players in a different game mode, so they're probably just doing that in free play, staying warm for when they're later required in the series. But for Devo and for Casio, that will most likely be in the next 3v3 that is played.
Yeah, they're not up for a while.
Yeah, it could be much later. I mean, we're seeing 2v2 here. That means 1v1 comes next. You could see another 2v2 after that. And then you could actually go back to 1v1. So 3v3 might not be for a while. These guys have got to, keep warm. They've got to keep those mechanics active and be ready for when they are called upon again. If they're called upon again. I mean, who knows? Maybe 1s and 2s will be the decider for the rest of the series.
The other option that we have seen is to have semi-public arguments in the chat. Says, what a save by Chaussette. Jumped and kept it out of his own side of the field. Somehow I just don't imagine Casio and Big Devo just having those public arguments.
No, I don't.
Within their personality types.
A big gap there between Chaussette and Exotic, but Dorito doesn't really capitalize on it, just hands the ball off to Exotic, and that wasn't a hard clear that made any sense because Exotic can take full control. He wasn't out of boost or anything. If you're going to hard clear the ball like that, you want to at least force a bad touch out of the opponent, or hey, get it past him. And that's CRR lingering downfield. That one worked a lot better for Guild. Dorito had a much more clear idea of where to go with that ball again. Great pass. Handing back the favor after CRR passed in a similar way to him in the threes.
Just taking a look at CRR's positioning, and I'm very impressed at how positive his positioning actually is. Kept his options open, but he was already loitering towards the midfield line, and you're going to need an awful lot of that when you are in a twos game. It is all up to your ability to predict what the upcoming plays are going to be and make sure that you're first one to it, because if you are not anywhere near the follow-up challenges, then your team is always going to be under pressure. CRR with a bit of time now to try and work with this. Takes it up to the wall. He's going to try and go the entire length of the field himself. Doesn't really get the chance for it. Exotic. Little bit of a preview of later on, and now Exotic look for his teammates.
Oh.
Did a lot of the work, and Chaussette had to find the net.
Sneaky Exotic. Realized the ball was going to bounce into a scoreable position. Just drove forward, parked up in front of Dorito. Prevented him from getting into position to save the incoming shot. Now, with a minute into the game, it's a similar kind of situation. Semper fighting back. They are such a consistent team. Guild are going to need to bring their A game to beat them. Dorito definitely did there. Chaussette 1v2. He tries to pre-jump, fails to make contact. That one is a bit too difficult to get back to.
Yeah, for Chaussette, this is all on a reaction. He's going to have to try and trust Exotic first time around. And no, there's no way. Not with 5 boosts. Just can't hook that car back around to keep the ball out of the net. Impressive from both teams. They are not panicking with the positioning and the whenever they get a little bit of time on the ball. We had a few of those games yesterday, Johnny, where it was just, hey, I've got the ball, I'm going to launch it. But for both of these teams, see exactly what we've got here. A bit of space, time to work a play.
Exotic taking his time now to set up a little air dribble, but never going all in. Has the next shot ready with the double tap, and these are real threats from Semper. Guild trying to manage their boost to the best of their ability. Join 20 on each as Chaussette fails to read the inside of the post bounce. Definitely half a chance there for Semper. Boost still running pretty low for Guild. Both players hit 0 at the same time there. It's rare to see both players be on absolutely nothing. A great bump there from CRR relieves the pressure.
And more importantly as well, Dorito gets a good challenge on the follow-up. Lose that, then Guild have been all over the place. Exotic, nice block. Chaussette chooses to stay back. Chaussette's been a very defensive approach so far. He's been happy to let Exotic do his work, and then, as you see, diving on in to maybe score the open net. Instead, CRR looks for the counter-attack. Half the game gone here, and it is Guild up 2-1. Chaussette back in. Might actually be able to follow that. Another first touch that's really going to open up options for him, but still has found the angle. Chaussette gave himself a lot of work to do and was happy to do it.
What a shot by Chaussette. Dorito was pathing around the edge of the box there, just picking up small boost pads. Did not realize that Chaussette intended to shoot directly. He was probably expecting Chaussette to roll the ball around the back wall, try and jump off the wall to score it, or maybe just play for the center ball. Chaussette saw the opening, seized it with both hands.
Exotic's got no boost at the moment. He needs Chaussette to help him out. Does currently loiter around with 65. Exotic still with 0. And you can see Chaussette just waiting on the goal line. Good idea to position the player that can at least jump up and move around on the goal line. We have one up into the air. Exotic still. A little bit of boost now to his name. Can get a slight clear, but the midfield very much in control over the side of Guild. Not the best first touch there from CRR. Exotic happy to try and see that away. Dorito keeps the play going. CRR looks for the player, and the shot wasn't on target. Exotic wipes away the danger.
Yeah, ball very close to the Semper goal there, but no danger. We talked a lot about Exotic. Talked a lot about the Spanish duo of CRR and Dorito, but how about Chaussette? What a game he's putting in right now. There must be, there's a reason why these guys haven't lost 2v2 this weekend. It's not just Exotic being, I think on average, the highest rated player in twos, but Chaussette having such a great play style for the game mode. Such a safe player, such a consistent player in twos, very counter-attacking focused. CRR and Dorito need to be careful now. Chaussette coming in with a flip because he's come off the ceiling for that challenge. He made it work. Exotic beat CRR to the punch. Faked a jump there. Dorito heard it, had to jump early, but he did well.
Chaussette to me is one of those best possible teammates you could get in twos, where he's not going to take the entire game for himself. He is going to enable you to do what you do at the best that you can possibly do it. See, even the pass over to Exotic couldn't quite get there. And Chaussette will cover. It has been a very, very solid performance, and, well, not really much else he can do now after the demo. Will instead be stuck over in defense. Does jump up, now back down. Exotic's back to help him out. We're all still tied up here at 2 goals each. A big test, and Chaussette made a mistake. Exotic does help. But now a good opportunity. Guild off the whiff, however, might not be able to recover this. Exotic just fainting out the first one. Dares CRR to try and take on the whole team. And CRR says, all right, I'll go ahead and do exactly that.
What a first touch by CRR. Chaussette and Exotic did not think he had it in him to pop the ball at that pace into the roof of their net from that position. A CRR just danced underneath the ball, side flips to pop it, and that's exactly what Guild needed. Perfect reaction after losing 3 straight goals in the 3v3. CRR dares to go for the big play in the closing seconds. Makes it stick, but what an even matchup that was. This is it's wonderful to see these two teams going up against each other. If the 1v1 ends up being as close as the 3s and 2s have been, this could be one of our most competitive series we've seen in the entire tournament so far, between this one and as well in North America.
Look, whatever lead I see in the upcoming game, I'm not going to trust. This is yet another one where it has been decided in the final few moments. And if there was ever a time for CRR to be finding his peak, this is it. He is well up for this one, and he's going to need to be once confirmed to be our next game mode. Whoever loses it will get the selection for game number 4. I want some quick predictions here, Johnny. Not actually on who's going to... Actually, you know what? From that reaction, I'm changing the question. Who's winning this one?
Okay, the
question was going to be who picks what up next, but it's all changed now.
I see. Well, okay, I'll give you both. I think that I'm going to go with CRR because Exotic, he surprised Luis yesterday, surprised Moxie. But I think CRR is probably around about the same level as Luis at the moment. And he doesn't have the pressure on him that Moxie did yesterday because they're coming into this match 1-1. Now, if SMPR had just taken the 2v2, I'd probably predict Exotic to win this. But CRR just popped off in the 2s, scored the winning goal. I think he's going to be feeling great going into this game. Already getting an early goal, but you know, that is just a small beginnings. Exotic ball pressure overextension there. Yeah, and as for the other question, I think we're going to see a CRR win and then SMPR pick 3v3.
And if Exotic ended up winning, do you still think 3v3 will be picked by Guild, or do you think they'll head back over to 2s?
I think Guild would pick 2s again if Exotic can get the dub here. Oh dear, he's top cornered in his own
That was savable.
It was definitely savable. He tried to go for a big save here. He wanted to absolutely leather that one off the post and start a counter-attack, because with that dodge, he's not just thinking about where he's hitting the ball, he's also trying to land on the back corner boost and immediately get a counter-attack going. But of course, any kind of miss hit in that position is going to result in the worst possible scenario for you. See, Exotic now faking a ceiling challenge. CRR also fakes his play, well, not once but twice. It's going to be difficult to fake out Exotic in these kind of positions. He doesn't like to jump into challenges early.
No. Especially when you've got a player like Exotic who does just exert that constant pressure. He's very capable of doing that not only in your side of the field, but even more so on his own side of the field.
How about CRR's defense as well, though? That was a weird little demo dodge, but wow. Quick turn from Exotic. CRR underestimated him there.
Yeah, let's have a look. CRR just wanted for the big win. And Exotic happy to play for the bounce-off block. Had the recovery, had the shot. And that's a little bit of a warning to CRR. You're not just going to get those big wins all the time against Exotic.
The kickoff so far going relatively even. Both players getting a look at it on every single play, even if there is a boost advantage. And speaking of boost advantages, Exotic has a ton left here, but he's had to go extremely high with his aerial. Doesn't get the boost steal either. The pick up mid, but that was not the plan A that Exotic was looking for.
CRR has been incredibly aggressive to start us off. What a flick! Doesn't need a follow, just dips into the net. Exotic's gonna have to be so aware of this because CRR is everywhere.
Yeah, CRR is really on his game with the challenge reading of Exotic. Exotic, like I mentioned earlier, is not usually the kind of player who likes to dive into challenges, but even though Exotic tried to surprise CRR with an aggressive challenge there, which is a great thing to do in ones. Oh, good read off the backboard there. Exotic quickly makes it a 1-goal game. You know, even if Exotic is going to just occasionally throw in a diving challenge, CRR clearly ready to react to them. Always need to have the ball in a position where you can quickly flick it to avoid getting dunked on in the back corner especially.
Now Exotic, I'm going to get the ball on this kickoff. As you mentioned, Johnny, still very even between the two. I feel like Exotic's wins have been bigger.
Wow.
But CRR, his positioning is just immaculate. He knows exactly where Exotic's going to put the ball.
Yeah, funnily enough, here he flicked the ball early because he was kind of low-key worried about Exotic reverse challenging. So CRR just flicks the ball nice and early to avoid any chance that Exotic can sneak a challenge in and force a 50-50. And that really just illustrates why early flicks are so powerful. Even if the other player doesn't challenge you, hey, they've still got to deal with an overhead catch, and that's not always easy. CRR,
oh,
Exotic, oh, big mind game. Exotic convinced CRR that he was getting back to this. CRR just flails in front of him.
Yeah, there's not really much to break down on this one. Just kept himself around. Exotic. Just mind games CRR, and that is enough to get himself back within a single goal. Both these players finding a lot of success from their offense. CRR has the ball. Does he have the shot? No, Exotic back just in time. CRR looking to lock down this boost. This is where Exotic usually does some good work defensively. Needs to stay on top of the ball, but CRR, challenge after challenge, over to the wall. Chance for the outplay, backs down at least for now. Exotic's having none of it. What a flick! Exotic trying to catch him out. Exotic still back in time.
Ridiculous recovery mechanics by Exotic here, but CRR's shooting is causing problems. Even if Exotic is saving shots and recovering, the boost is not looking too good, and eventually CRR goes where Exotic can't follow. And the air dribble dunk, it was always going to be difficult to stop with an in and out save. Exotic actually jumped back down here. I'm not sure what he was expecting CRR to do with that play, but you know, jumping off the crossbar onto the ground, definitely not the play to counter what CRR was doing.
Exotic went for the delayed kickoff this time around. Didn't quite work out for him as CRR wants to go the entire length, and Exotic will stop it this time around. He's got possession of the ball. CRR not going to get behind it. Exotic, though, had to respect the possibility. Tried to go a little bit earlier, but CRR still equal to the play.
Yeah, CRR the more aggressive of the two players with his challenges, and that's not a surprise. The ball slowly bouncing near the goal here. Exotic will get back to it. His recoveries have been immaculate, even though CRR continues to force Exotic into awkward positions repeatedly. Exotic always gets back to the ball. That bump was so unexpected. You know, we see a lot of attempted bumps these days in ones, especially in back corners in off when you're attacking. That one is very difficult to spot. CRR didn't realize Exotic could reach him.
Yeah, especially with the camera and how it works.
On it.
Ball, and there you are. There's the first kickoff goal, almost within 2 touches of it. Have a look at that. Lovely recovery, and for once, CRR could not maintain the momentum. Just there was a slight drop after he landed.
Yeah, he thought he could beat Exotic to the ball there. Exotic too quick. With just over 2 minutes left, we are all tied up in a game that's been so much about the challenges, you know, trying to read the timing of the challenges in particular. CRR has done so well to the whole game, and he does it again. He just knows. There's something about Exotic's movement that is telling CRR that he's going to be moving in for the ball, because that reaction is immediate. As soon as Exotic fakes the challenge, CRR sets up for the flick, knowing that there's a real challenge coming after it. Not sure exactly how he's reading him so well.
Oh, CRR!
Also delays the dodge, rolls in the 2-goal lead.
Back onto the topic as well of those immediate flicks. What I'm noticing from CRR is it seems automatic the moment that the ball is covered or is covering Exotic's name tag. It seems like CRR just goes immediately.
That's so smart as well. I love that. So safe. Exotic has fought back bravely once, trying to do it again. Oh, he's got himself a chance here. CRR's going to save that. Exotic, he's manipulating the play right after kickoffs very well, and scored off it just moments ago, but now he has to work a little bit harder for a goal.
Can't find the demo. Exotic avoids it, at least this time round. Plenty of boost, decides to take it onto the floor. CRR, you're in the mind game right now, son, and you can't find your way out of this maze.
Exotic fakes the ceiling shot, he fakes the ground shot, and then flies in front of the ball to take CRR out of the picture. Bumps onto CRR have been very effective late in the game. Even though Exotic's first attempt at this, way back at the start of the game, didn't work. He had faith in going back to the strategy, and I can see why. I mean, he's like a homing missile, just finding CRR twice in a row now.
Only one goal separates them. We've had 13 of them. And we haven't even gotten into the final minute just yet. Exotic, this time, reset, hits the crossbar. It is up to the recoveries now. CRR in a good spot. Can at least take over. He's now going to try and just bait Exotic into a bad spot. But Exotic does cover the angles incredibly well. Has lost boost and possession. From the corner, so hard to create something out of this. And Exotic has dealt with it very well. Goes first time shot. CRR delays and just showed us what might have been.
It's a pretty big play there by CRR. By keeping control of that ball, he denied Exotic the immediate follow-up, and even now, he's put himself in a better position. If he was boost-starved in net and Exotic was peppering the net with shots, it'd be very difficult to defend, but at least he's given himself a chance here. 45 boost. Look at the pathing with CRR all the way to the edge of the box, but Exotic's got a flip to work with. CRR somehow blocks it anyway. Phenomenal boost management under pressure from CRR.
What's really impressive here, actually, is CRR with only 22 boosts to his name by the time he actually got to the ball, was happy to still slow play it, take it back to his own corner on the far side of the field. Not wasting his chances, and Exotic back in time, but he's not going to for this one. CRR has got the 2-goal lead, and it's up to Exotic to find something huge on these kickoffs.
Exotic tried to side flip into CRR there. He kind of rolled over the top of him instead, and CRR just had a clear run to the goal, which he would never miss. CRR just needs to get a safe kickoff strategy. If he can get this anywhere except the back of his net in 3 seconds, then we're good for the win. I think that should do. I mean, it's going to take too long for Exotic to score this, so he'll go for it anyway. CRR, not even going to give him that. And just like that, CRR has made it 2-1 in Guild's favor. The hero of that second game in the 2v2 has taken another win for Guild as well in the ones.
And no surprise, really, SMPR want to go back to threes game, where it seems like that might be the only real way of getting some games off Guild at the moment. Maybe nullify. The more you dilute CRR, the more chance you have at the moment. So sticking in another 5 players with him along with them might very well be the way to go with this. But this is a huge win as well now for Guild, because even if SMPR can take this, Guild kind of have the lay of the land here for the rest of the game picks.
Yeah, even now though, I think I don't see a strong pick, like an overwhelmingly strong pick for either team. I like what I'm seeing from both teams in every single game mode. This is, I think, the closest matchup in, well, across the board that we've seen in Gamers Without Borders so far, even, you know, including all of the NA teams. There is always one matchup in most of the NA matchups, and indeed in most of the EU matchups where you think, okay, well, that's going to be a big advantage in ones. That's going to be a big advantage in threes. This team's undefeated in threes. This team hasn't won at all in threes. But here, both teams have got good records in every game mode. Both teams look to be extremely competitive in every game mode. And even though Guild have got the edge here, I could just as easily see every game mode going the other way second time around. For me, it's all about momentum here. It's all about the confidence when skill is so close across the board.
Well, a very quick hey guys to Devo and Cassio as they re-enter the field for the first time in quite some time. Both of them over in free play as their teammates took care of business. And you get the feeling that Devo will be re-entering as the happier of the other 2 players. Dorito looking to try and keep this going. He's got it to CRR, wins that race. It's up to Dorito to finish it and couldn't do so.
A difficult shot, certainly, but one that you'd expect him to get a little bit closer. That wasn't even close from Dorito. Hits it high and wide of the net. Open nets, of course, always difficult. Now through the smoke screen, CRR has hit the post. Cassio clears in the follow-up. Notice the defensive passing by SMPR. That's how they won the first 3v3 between these 2 teams. Just a couple of quick defensive passes. These teams, well, you know, funnily enough, Cassio said in the interview pre-match, he considers them an aggressive team and a defensive team at the same time. And I'm going to disagree. I personally see them as a defensive team. I don't see them as an aggressive team. I know what he means. He means that they like to pressure the ball, but I still consider them a defensive team compared to just the average Rocket League 3's pro team at the moment. That's not necessarily a bad thing. They counterpunch very well. Now that's open. And Devo skies it. What is going on with Guild's shooting?
Oh, dearie me. Well, they need to get this back. The momentum has been with Guild coming into this game. But that can go away very quickly if you have a whole team having a bad performance here in the threes game. Back to the corner, Dorito, midfield. Guild have still had the better game plan so far, but they have not got anything tangible for it. Shot set, looking for the backboard. Dorito does clear. It's over to CRR. Once the shot is saved, but he'll be quite happy to say at least that one was on target.
It was very much on target, straight down the middle of the goal. Here's a better chance for CRR. Has the flip, hits the bar. Devo follows up, and this time makes sure of the goal.
I believe that this is referred to as an unmissable angle here as CRR does, oh my goodness, so much work with the setup. Devo just has to be there, and he has done exactly that. 2 minutes down, Guild have got the lead, and they can put all of that just behind them for now. And this is where, when you get that goal, Johnny, the narrative changes a little bit because now we get focused more on how dominant Guild have been in terms of possession.
Yeah, just like in their match yesterday in the upper semi, as soon as they got into the game, they just kept on winning. And they after winning once in both of the series they've played so far in the closed qualifier, they haven't stopped winning. They've been on a winning streak, and that's continuing here versus SMPR. And SMPR are really, really struggling with the skilled pressure. The boost is just always seemingly so low for them. It's difficult to make those quick passing plays and threaten hard clears when you don't have enough boost to boom the ball. And yeah, they're I think a bit lifeless actually in the matchup right now. A lot more so than when the two teams played earlier on.
Well, if Cassio wanted to describe his team as aggressive, now's the time to show a bit of that aggression. Shot set. Just barely able to get there before Devo. Dorito now. I don't like to have gone the entire way, but a clash with Cassio means that that will be about as far as he does get. Less than 2 minutes left here. Guild Esports on the verge of match point, and 3 of them. Let's try and book their spot in the grand finals. There's the chance. Dorito, well, on target again, but Dorito's just not quite finding the shooting accuracy to put it in the top bins.
Yeah, this aggression though from Guild is what you like to see from a Rocket League team who are leading. You know, I think on 2-1 in the first 3v3 game this series, they've got a bit too comfortable, I think. Just playing for the possession instead of threatening shots like they are right now. They're on that same 1-goal lead at the moment, but they're still really going for a goal. And SMPR know that. SMPR are having to rush in defense. They're having to panic at times just to get the ball clear, and they can't do it again. Cassio boost starved. Just doesn't get anything on it. You know, you got to wonder, would it make more sense for SMPR to just force some 50-50s? Because if all you're going to get, if all the distance you're able to get on the ball is a trickling clear, then really what's the point? You're just giving it away.
Oh, and there's a huge amount of space. Exotic went far forward. I'm going to be quite happy to see that CRR didn't have the boost to fly into the air and redirect it. Doesn't make the situation any better, though, because as you mentioned, Johnny, it has been one of those times where you get the feeling that the Rocket League field just looks smaller. It's been blue side only throughout the entirety of this 4.5 minutes. And Trio looking to try and add more to it. Doesn't get the contact that he was after. A bump on CRR. Finally some space to work with. Fake out 1. Take the challenge on 2, but CRR still riding the wave of momentum from the 1v1 in a 2v2 game. Far too strong.
Yeah, just 10 seconds to go. SMPR have had almost nothing to speak about in this game as Devo hits the bar again. Now that was a bit more of a difficult shot to put past the last man, but it was the 12th shot that Guild have hit in this game to just 1 of SMPR. A stifling performance up until now, but Cassio still keeps the 0-second play alive. He's going to try and corner it. CRR's there. And it's going to be a tough one to keep up. CRR didn't land on it though. Dorito will try to launch it, but that doesn't go as far as Chaussette, who unfortunately for SMPR can't keep control. They've lost in the 3v3 as well. That's 3 straight in 3 different game modes for Guild. In the same way that they did in the last 2 games. I'm just having a look at the bracket. And yeah, indeed, every time that they've gotten a foothold in the series, they've just taken over.
Well, it is now up to SMPR to pick either 2s or 1s. The way this format works, Game 6 will be whichever one of the formats that they don't go for. And Exotic calling for the 2v2. So Game 6, if we need it, will be back to 1v1. That one would look like it was a difficult call as well. But focusing on this game, Johnny, one of the more dominant 1-0s I think I've seen.
Oh, absolutely. Guild just never looked like they were going to concede pressure there. And it was a game that started off inconsistently for them. We're kind of worried at the beginning because they were creating a ton of chances, but they were missing open nets. And, you know, it's not always the end of the world when you miss chances like that, as long as you're creating more and as long as it looks like you're creating a high enough volume of chances. Guild, you know, they showed what you got to do in those situations. Just keep going. Okay, miss the open net, doesn't matter. Just keep stealing the boost, keep on repositioning, keep you know, backing up SMPR into a corner. And they never overcommitted once in this entire game. They always had multiple players ready to follow up on anything SMPR were trying to do. So that's the Guild formation, the Guild unit that when it gets rolling is very, very difficult to stop. But you do want to see better shooting from Guild as well. I mean, 2 open nets, 1 from Dorito, 1 from D, but that's not on. And other teams are going to punish you for that. SMPR not able to do so.
Maybe it was just some sort of cosmic balance. We had so many goals in the 1v1 game that we needed to just bring it back down a little bit for the threes. As Charset, let's get his team's first goal in over 5 minutes. Gets an extra chance. Does not need any more questions. What a hit!
Absolute banger by Charset. I love the positioning, and gotta also give credit to that pass from Exotic. He launched that one at Charset and had to hit it pretty hard to get it past CRR initially. Wow. Perfect finish from Charset. Just an absolute beauty. And this is the attempt from SMPR to give Guild their first loss after they've won a game. Oh my goodness, CRR! He stands strong in the face of danger, shrugs off Charset's pump, and unfortunately for SMPR, Exotic couldn't do likewise.
Yeah, Exotic just got run over by that one, and there was no way of recovering. CRR gets his team straight back into it, and any momentum that was being built up there by SMPR is now gone. Exotic looks to re-establish it, backs CRR up with a fainted out demo. Charset takes his time, puts it back into the midfield. Who's going to be the first to follow up? It's Dorito to his own challenge. Still moving on. Charset up against CRR. CRR just clatters straight through it. No nonsense from CRR as per always. This is triple match point. So for SMPR, the task is this. Win this, win the ones game, and then win whatever Guild pick for Game 7.
Yeah, they got a long way back, and it's not a brave prediction to call Guild as the winners here. They look so confident, and you know, how could they not be after the 3v3 display that they just put on? And with the knowledge that CRR and Dorito are such a difficult duo to beat, one of the best in the business when it comes to 2v2. You know, full credit to CRR. In that CRR versus Exotic highlight matchup, it's CRR who's been stealing the show. He's been stunning, he's been aggressive, he's been confident, mechanical in every single game mode, in every single situation you put him in. And although SMPR have kept it respectable in every game except the last one, they haven't been able to dictate where the game is being played and, you know, what the waiting conditions for both teams are. It's been CRR who's decided. We're all playing his game right now. Everybody's doing his bidding almost. He decides when challenges are going to happen. He decides where challenges are going to happen. SMPR having to play reactively.
Oh, CRR takes to the air, couldn't find Charset's car. Instead, he's just got the setup, forces a bad challenge, and Dorito can do the rest of the work. Oh, look at Charset, just gets turned inside out like a pretzel as he tries to get over to it.
Yeah, and it was CRR just parking up in front of Exotic on the goal line as well that left it uncontested for Dorito. Charset really, you know, did all he could do there, just try to stop the ball dead, but unfortunately couldn't get a clear on it. And CRR, after knocking the ball past Charset, or at least putting Charset in a precarious position, completely removed Exotic from the play as well. Exotic not able to get the same quality of shots off after being left in a brief 2v1 there. Charset's out of the game here. Now the 2v1's been turned around and briefly a 2v none as Dorito as he opened net from a tight angle, but just like in the 3v3, the angle proved to be too difficult to get.
CRR now from that backboard. Dorito realizing the play might be gone. He's already started to head back home. Did try to move around in the midfield though. Chaussette, backflip, no follow-up in the air. I've realized that the pre-jump was coming through, so decided to try and stay as relevant as possible. And Chaussette, he's hit it too cleanly. Exotic will finish it off. My goodness, Chaussette cannot stop hitting bangers though.
Yeah, full volley absolutely leathers it. I don't think CRR realized it was going to stick around on the goal line here because he just flipped away from the play, probably thinking, oh, well, yeah, good shot, Chaussette. We'll give you that one. Then to his horror, he realized it might have been savable. But full credit to Chaussette. He has been blasting his shots in this game.
Yeah, for all of the resets that you can do, if that ball was coming from the outside in and Chaussette's got a chance to hit it, you're in danger. And that has been a consistent throughout the entirety of Chaussette's career. It's happy to see Chaussette with the confidence as well to take those shots. I've had periods within his career where it looks like he's just trying to outplay, not necessarily his opponents, but maybe himself off the post. Chaussette bundles it over the line, far too strong.
CRR didn't realize that Exotic was coming in that quickly. Great recovery from Exotic again. Dorito with no momentum, could not stop the Chaussette hat trick. SMPR showing some life. They're trying to do, I'll remind you guys, they're trying to do what no other team has done, and that's win a game after Guild have won a game in one of these series in this tournament. So far, so good.
Exotic doesn't have the reset, instead followed up for the challenge. Again, I don't fully trust this scoreline, Johnny. That one-goal lead has been tenuous in these multi-man matches. CRR with Dorito on the far side, but can't get through the challenge. It's Dorito's turn. Over to the midfield. He's got Chaussette for company. Gets past him. Off the demo, and he's missed the shot. Dorito will maybe live to regret that one. The challenge means that the play is done, and it's SMPR's turn on the counter-attack. Good stop.
Yeah, you can clearly tell Dorito's really not feeling it with the open net accuracy. He missed one in the last game, he's missed one in this game, and he'd already done the hard part. The flip reset was spectacular. The fake, absolutely effective, but unfortunately for Guild, CRR's demo led to nothing, and they're going to need to work at it again. Right, Dorito, the net's wide open, third time lucky, and this time he does it.
Dorito has got the brace. Chaussette, yeah, just far too many players swarming around him, couldn't do anything about Dorito, just clipping the front of his car. And it was up to Dorito to right the wrong of earlier. Guild now with a huge chance to put this series to bed. And after Dorito's kickoffs, that has to be it. Couldn't get the power. He trusted CRR with more of the shot.
Yeah, it was a difficult shot to get a ton of power on. Another great recovery from SMPR to get back to the ball and prevent Dorito from just firing on net immediately. And that would have been a horrendous way for SMPR to go. They're not going to go though. Infield, Chaussette to Exotic, who bounces it in underneath the pre-jump. The crossfield passes from Chaussette and Exotic have been the difference.
What shot placement as well from Exotic. Saw the oncoming challenge and decided, right, time to put this one low. Again, another late goal might do it. There's still a chance here. Dorito, back to CRR. It's so high up, though. And CRR does not have the double-decker bus required to reach it. Instead, SMPR have got the game. They now need 2 more in a row, with the next one guaranteed to be ones.
This is huge. Absolutely huge for SMPR. You know, like we mentioned earlier, just because Guild look like they're in control, it doesn't mean that this series is over. In other matchups, it really is, far gone. If you lose a game mode that you absolutely have to win and the other team have such a strong advantage in one of the other game modes, you're in big trouble. But here, SMPR have got a fighting chance, more than a fighting chance in every game mode. It was a close 1v1 earlier. The first 3v3 went to them. The second 3v3 went to Guild. Wherever we go from here, it's going to be competitive. And obviously we go to 1v1 next, but wherever the grand final goes, if we do go there, Guild will have the choice between either 2v2 or 3v3. And with both those game modes being 1-1 currently, I mean, what do you choose? It's a really tough one. I think probably now 3v3 because they crushed it last time so much. But it all starts off with this 1v1. Exotic has to step up. I doubt we're going to see any heroics from Chaussette or Cassio stepping in here. But yeah, Exotic, he's got to start sneaking in those challenges. He's tried to challenge CRR many a time in this matchup, and CRR just always sees him coming.
You can see there's a couple of players as well. We mentioned earlier on how some players like to leave and get into free play. There's other players, though, that are sticking around, and they want front row seats for this particular matchup. Dorito and Chaussette, the two players that are sticking with us for the 1v1. Exotic and CRR. It is still to play for Guild. It is still to lose if you're Guild. And if you're CRR, it's time to make yourself your team's hero.
Yeah, Exotic thought that CRR was going to play for the boost there. CRR only had his eye on one thing, and that was the direct shot. So great finish by CRR. Bit of a mistake there by Exotic, though. He could have passed back to the net and deflected that one wide. But of course, he knows that if he does that, CRR just won't shoot. So CRR holding all the cards there.
CRR again coming out of the kickoff very well. That's the sort of bounce that you would like to see as well if you're in offense. He's got Exotic jumping early. Wow. Time to go through and underneath.
Oh, CRR's inside his head now. I mean, Exotic jumped ridiculously early here because CRR's flicked so many times. Remember in the first matchup between these two, CRR flicked the ball over the top of Exotic, at least 3 or 4 times. So that's all Exotic's thinking about there. And CRR switches it up, goes low, fakes him out, gets the second goal.
CRR has time yet again. The kickoff's going his way. The flicks have been monstrous. Setting him up for the rest of the play. He's got some more boosts stolen, but Exotic finding little ways, little gaps. The CRR has been forced to leave. Didn't get the boost either, so Exotic can choose to keep this playing, and he certainly will. Not the first touch that he would like, but it's now become awkward. And CRR, well played, got the backflip, took the ball away, which was slowly rolling in front of the net.
That's a great patience as well from Exotic. He knew the boost was going to spawn, and he knew he was going to be the one picking it up. And CRR can't do anything but send the ball to his own net here. Exotic, after stealing the boost away, stole the mid boost as well, gave CRR absolutely nothing to play with. Yeah, was it savable? Probably. I think CRR with a different dodge, maybe a little bit of a backflip to lift the nose of the car up more quickly, might have just been able to deflect that into the back corner. But one thing is certain, Exotic was going to be in a really, really good position, even if CRR got a save.
From what I was seeing there, it looked like CRR was kind of surprised that he didn't manage to path into a 12 boost on his way back, and just couldn't find the angle afterwards. Just seemed like it was more impressive, actually. He managed to miss all of them. Exotic, though, good challenge. Wiped out after the fact. CRR, all the time in the world to set up. Doesn't want to go for the wall. He's more happy to play straight for the flick. And Exotic, also happy to see that the crossbar is coming to his aid.
I'm not sure about that shot selection from CRR. I would have liked to see something a bit different. When he straightened up the dribble, I expected him to play for the bump. And I'm very surprised to see the straight flick. Exotic, using much more of an angle in his approach, ties the game. And, for once, I think CRR's messed up there. I think he really should have had at least a consistent pressure or possession play, but instead just went for the straight flick, which is extremely difficult to place over the top of a goalkeeper who can cover as much of the goal as Exotic can.
Especially when the delayed kickoff from CRR. All right, well, he's put his game right back in order. And I love the timing as well of this, Johnny. You've just conceded 2 goals. The last one definitely leaving a bit of a sour taste in your mouth. How do you fix it? Just get yourself a free goal.
Yeah, CRR's timing on the kickoffs is so awkward to deal with, and this is one aspect of ones which does usually favor the more recently active player, which CRR is. Exotic's a player with past 1 success, but these days not as active in the game mode. The kickoffs are definitely showing that as CRR continues to dominate the majority of the possessions. And it goes to show how solid of a midfield player Exotic is, that despite CRR's big kickoff advantage, he's still able to keep this one close.
Exotic going to the far wall. He would love that 100 boost to turn up, but it simply didn't. And now it's up to the recovery. Exotic will be the stronger of the two. A game that he does trail by 1, and a game that he must win. Exotic looks to go for the far corner. CRR does steal boost, and he steals the car. There you are, walks it in, and Exotic gives him a nice bump in the chat.
Yeah, it was a very, very good demo there. Exotic trying to run up the wall to escape what he knew was coming his way, but he couldn't do it quickly enough. CRR takes him out of the picture. Yeah, that was a much smarter attack from CRR. It's sort of what I expected from him earlier when he ended up just missing and conceding in the counter-attack. He plays for the consistent pressure there. He plays for the boost steal, the demo in the back corner, because he doesn't expect Exotic to concede off that initial shot. It's just to set up the next play, which Exotic now has to come back from.
And Exotic looks a little bit rough when it comes to setting up his plays. Just doesn't have a consistent idea as to how he's going to go about it, and it's really showing in his execution. Exotic, though, on the chase down. Not even a bounce that he can really do much with, as the ceiling reset doesn't really stop the momentum of the car. 2 minutes left here, 2 goals, the better for CRR, who is playing very exotic against exotic, just keeping that pressure constantly on. You can't get rid of him.
Yeah, it's not exotic who switched up to counter CRR. It's the other way around. CRR took the 1v1 the first time around, and now he's actually just adapted, even though he was winning. Oh my goodness, what flick from exotic though. He just teed that one up for himself and pinged it in the top corner with perfect timing.
Not often you see the straight-on dribbles end up with a direct goal. Usually it's just trying to bait out a bad save, but Exotic fully believed in it. And why not? Great flick by Exotic, the sort of goal he needed as well, just to reaffirm that belief in the mechanics.
And that was beautiful. Such a tough one to read. Like we mentioned earlier, it's very difficult on a straight approach to flick the ball like that, but it's not impossible, as Exotic shows. Definitely not for a player like him. And now he quickly has to get back into position to save CRR's next shot, but he does so. Stays active in the play. But CRR, with great realization, noticed that it was going to be a ball he can get back to, and Exotic's going to need to just control that first touch a little bit better if he's going to keep CRR from charging in. He's not done so. CRR again just realizes that is an overhit touch from Exotic. I can just reach it, but he's missed his own touch. Both players' first touch kind of going out the window here as the pressure rises in the winter final.
All right, we'll take 2 for Exotic, this time off the ceiling. CRR waits, he waits, and he makes the right decision. The 2-goal lead is back, and Exotic didn't want to pull the trigger on a play, and CRR happy to take the challenge.
Yeah, CRR once more just seeing exactly what Exotic has planned. Exotic probably had his mind on a ceiling shot there, but when he realized the ball was getting away from him, he just leaned back into a 50-50 or a blocking angle. CRR could see that the whole time, so he just played the ball. He didn't care about pre-jumping in front of whatever shot Exotic was threatening. That's, just full credit to CRR. He's not afraid of Exotic's aerial game right now. He's just playing the ball, and once again, just goes straight for the ball. He's not convinced. He's saying to Exotic, well, whatever it is that you're trying to do here, I don't believe you. I don't believe you've got control, and I don't believe you're going to hit that ball past me.
So we do see Exotic going for it yet again. That's still dangerous. Found the negative angle shot. But for CRR, this is just about keeping the ball control, win a couple more challenges. You've been doing it well for the last 5 minutes. What's 10 more seconds to you? CRR killing off even more time. And it looks like Exotic's given up. That's the GGs. Guild Esports secure their spot in the grand finals. And for SMPR, it's work to do in the lowers.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. And, we talked about Luis coming into this event as being that scary ones player, which he did prove to be. But Luis dropped 1 game to Exotic. They went 1-1 in their matchup. We talked about Moxie being such a dominant force to be reckoned with. He dropped a game to Exotic as well, but CRR doesn't. He goes completely undefeated in 1v1 throughout this whole event. Absolutely